Hello and welcome to another episode of Boldly Going. It is I, Merlin, sometimes known as Joe, and I've got the Film Fanatics here with me. I've got Dan over here,
Hey.
and I got Justin over there,
How's it going?
and I got the mic coming towards
Ooh,
me.
That's
So
not good.
Really wants me
hot
today.
mic.
Hot
Uh-oh.
mics. Whoa. Yeah, today we're going to be going back to Next Generation, and this is the episode that I've actually been waiting for. I knew that there was one about Data that was going to be important for Season 1 that I was excited to talk about because Next Gen has been less than stellar. So I was hoping this one would at least give us something interesting to talk about. But who wants to do the synopsis for this one, though? I mean, I know that...
Well, it is TNG.
Data's the big, Dan's the big
I
Data
do
fan.
enjoy Data.
So, I'll let you have this one. Do the synopsis. I mean...
But there is a lot of cursing out Wesley in this episode.
Well, look at it this way. That'll make Justin happy. But I want to hear about that later. Now, besides, even though you can do the synopsis, I think people will know, if they're Trek fans, Data, lore, there might be another character involved.
Yes.
Whatever do you mean, Joe?
So I'm curious to see what your thoughts on the initial introduction of said evil brother.
Okay, well, yeah, so we've got the evil Data, who's called Lore.
That's what he is.
And, we learn about him. He's evil Data, and tries to take over everything. And then Wesley tries to save the day and has a bunch of logical points, and everyone tells him to literally shut up.
Even though he's right.
One of the most mature I've seen of Picard telling little boys to shut up. But
Well, you know that Picard doesn't like children. It's a fact.
it is.
Oh, clearly.
But, I didn't like this episode.
Really?
Yeah.
But you don't like evil Data.
No, I don't. Okay, the evil twin thing. My
Done
thoughts
it.
on.
Yeah, a little. Over there.
Trek's already done it with Kirk.
I'm Captain Kirk.
So, we already did it on a Trek, and now to do it to Data, obviously, sort of rehashing.
But we get
old
to explore,
storylines.
the other side of humanity, maybe, the forbidden fruit, so to speak.
Yes, true. I liked that we found out a little bit about Data's backstory like that. Worf was in this one a good amount.
Worf's good, yeah.
Which, more than really he has been. He actually did something in this episode.
Yeah.
But only fulfilling his season 1 purpose. But
kind of still getting his ass handed to him, generally.
True, but he tried.
yeah,
And he was in it.
We get points for trying now?
He's not even in half the
I was
episodes.
gonna say.
So, yes, he appeared.
Okay.
I really was annoyed about the Wesley go F yourself scene.
I'm not sure exactly why that happened the way it did.
I don't either.
It is a
It
little
seemed
ridiculous.
out of character for everyone, except Wesley. Because it's like, okay, I know...
Channeling fan rage.
Well, okay, right. Justin hates Wesley. I got it. But
We'll get to that.
from a
Plot
points, standing, I think even Justin would have to admit he's saved the ship on numerous occasions. You usually hate how he goes about it and how it's written.
It's borderline Deus Ex Machina.
But you have to admit, in the 10 or 12 episodes we've seen so far, he's probably saved the day in half of them.
Yeah.
About right.
Why are we not listening to him when he's saying things that make sense?
Well,
It just seemed out of character, and I didn't like it.
I guess they're trying to handle the whole age thing with him being a bridge officer, but at the same time being
But
a
even
kid.
Data says to Lore, he
He's
looks
very
like a
mature
kid,
percentage.
but he's got a big brain.
Well, Lore's not going to care about that.
No, he doesn't, but I mean, in terms of, Data knows that, so why doesn't Picard and his mom? It just...
I don't really have a good answer for you.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is not a great one for me. It's a C.
Okay, what about Justin, though? Come on, tell me you liked Lore.
Well,
Come on.
I gotta start off with a confession that I am not so familiar with the let's throw evil twin in every third show. That signature trope. Obviously, we've seen in numerous evil Kirk episodes, but
there'll be more of those.
this is I'm sure without question there's more of those.
Evil Kirk, Evil Spock,
But-
Evil McCoy.
Evil Data, I was for the most part okay with. The biggest issue I had is I didn't think there was enough distinction between the two. Like, in terms of mentality, yes, but there were some points where it was like it's just Brett Spiner doing a minor twist on Data.
I thought that actually was
I
complimentary
thought
for his
Spiner's
acting.
acting was the best of
That's
the
the
whole
thing.
thing.
I thought he actually was doing a good job portraying those characters very differently. I think you get a very big sense that Lore is very different than Data.
Oh, he is very different, but like you would think like his at least some parts of his speech would change instead of being a carbon copy of Data.
Well, he is the carbon copy of Data. He's an android with the same functions and
Yeah, but he was the
Same
first.
exact DNA,
parts and
basically.
part-
Yeah,
it literally is the same model, just
evil.
But he
more
was version
advanced,
1.0,
but evil.
yes. But he was the first one, right? Then do mention he's older.
Well, if you want to go to Star Trek Nemesis, technically B4 is the first one.
Oh man!
Wow, that's bad.
Can we just call Nemesis non-canon?
James Cameron
Cameron.
write that line?
No, I believe that was actually I don't know who did it. It was the guy. Oh, the director didn't know anything about Star Trek, but
Yeah,
B4 is technically the first
Wow.
one. Get it? Get it?
Oh, I get it. That's why it's terrible. I got it.
Okay, but yes, Laura I think is the second model technically.
But point being, came before Data, so
Correct.
you would think there would be more differences than just general outlook on life. But I mean, it also speaks to the whole nature versus nurture thing, which I did like. I wish they went further with in this episode. I did actually really enjoy the.
Wesley bashing. Yep.
No, actually, we're getting to that though.
Shut up,
That
Wesley. Yeah!
That was actually a negative. So
Okay.
hold tight on that.
Ooh.
Put a pin in that.
Okay, I'm waiting.
But one thing I did like is how they were using the language of Data to sort of look through his scheme. I thought it was a clever plot point. Did they do enough with it? No, but it was smartly handled, and I think added a nice twist to things. Actually, gave Wesley a believable angle as to how he's able to save the day this time instead of I know it because I am. But then we get to the "Shut up, Wesley" scene that shall live on in infamy. It's out of character, not to step on Dan's toes here, but the biggest thing that bothers me about it is, out of all the infuriatingly annoying things Wesley has done up to this point, this scene where he's actually logical and rational is the scene where people freak out on him. Not the scene where he's talking down to oh my god, losing my talking down to Geordi. Not the scene where he's literally on death row and he's mouthing off to Picard. No, the scene where he's actually speaking sense is the scene where they tell him to shut up.
Hey man, I guess the writers had some issues and they just felt like using this episode to kind of let it out. That's the only explanation I can think of.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not the best writing though.
if there's anything I've been able to tell, particularly in the case of Voyager, Trek varies significantly from writer to writer, but
Yeah.
this was an interesting episode. I hesitate to call it good, but
it's not good.
but I at least was engaged for the better part of the episode. I'd probably leave with a B-.
Oh wow, I really liked it. Yeah, this episode's not too good.
It's not good.
But I will say I always thought this episode was incredibly mediocre. But I actually really like Lore as a character. I do. I like the evil Data. I do. I like Brent Spiner playing evil.
I like the
showcasing
double
that's good.
job Brent Spiner does.
And
yeah.
I mean, and I have to say, I guess more of a negative for you and more of a positive for Justin. If you felt a certain way about Lore, you may or may not feel that way later, several more times throughout Next Generation.
Lore keeps coming back.
He is
Recurring
Data's
villain?
arch nemesis. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, he is.
Oh,
interesting.
he's a popular character.
It's not that I hated Lore per se.
Okay.
I just didn't like the handling of the episode at all. Like, I just don't think it's written very well.
It's not.
Yeah, I can't say I hated Lore as a character. I mean, I do tire of the trope.
But I don't know if I'd go so far as to say he's
But-
exactly. I mean, I guess he is the evil twin, but he is very much like a different person.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I believe
definitely.
Spiner plays him two different ways.
And that's really the only thing about this episode that stands out for me. That's the only reason I like it in particular. But everything else about it is sloppy. I just always thought it was kind of dull and ridiculous. And you are right. Everybody is incredibly out of character for Wesley now and getting angry at him now. I guess maybe all the
It was
characters
weird.
had pent-up rage for all the other nonsense he did and decided
Maybe.
now to get pissed off at him.
Possibly.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's the only thing I can think of. But like I said, that's just making excuses for it. I mean, I leave it with a C-. I think it's not very good, but I have always liked Lore enough, and he is so important to Next Generation and for Data's story, and when he comes back, that I think that he's definitely worth his significance here.
Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't quite what I was expecting. I thought you guys would like this more for some reason.
I did not care for it. That body double, too.
Well, look,
When they're, like, walking down the corridor together. The other guy's, like, the hair's completely
Glaringly
different.
obvious.
Broader shoulders, like...
well, he can shapeshift.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's Odo now.
He's
Yes.
actually a changeling. Yes, he's Odo.
Yeah, I see.
Anything's possible, I guess.
Another thing about Data I didn't know, I guess.
Yeah.
We're learning new things every day.
That's right.
He's he's an android of many talents.
He is. He is, definitely. Well, guys, that was Datalore. Mixed results over here. But that's okay. I thought it was... I said it would be something to talk about. I didn't say it'd necessarily be good. Let us know what you thought about it, though. We're going back to DS9, which is pretty much always great, next time. And we'll be moving on afterwards. So, everybody, say goodbye.
Yep, see ya.
Take us out.